guys, the Super Review Show for another episode of Rock Talk. This show I break down artists and albums, specifically albums that have significant meaning to me, or the album is just that great. Definitely check out this album no matter what. And here we are today talking about Journey, Raised on Radio. This is an original pressing of Journey's Raised on Radio from 1986. So it's not. I could have waited until next year to do this, but I figured it's the middle of the summertime, so why don't we just talk about Journey's Raised on Radio, which was one of the best-selling albums of the 1980s. Honestly, of one of the probably the band of the 80s. When you think about Journey, you think about like Don't Stop Believing was 81, 82. Then Faithfully was like 83, 84. This kind of cemented them into the later half of the 80s of like, all right, we have hits like Girl Can't Help It, Suzanne. Great. I love Suzanne. Positive Touch. I'll Be Alright Without You. It's kind of depressing, but it's really good. And Why Can't This Night Go On Forever? This album is, look at the album cover again. Journey's Raised on Radio. Journey Raised on Radio. Neil Sean, if you're out there listening to this, please lower the keys to your songs. I beg of you. I've seen you live 3 times. Arnell can't sing that high anymore. Lower the keys, Neil. That's an inside joke with all of us here. Anyways, Journey's Raised on Radio. Probably their best album. Because when you think about Journey, you think about hit singles. You think about a band that has tons of hits. A greatest hits album that is a diamond-and-a-half selling album. Period. End of discussion. For those of you new to the world of music, you may never hear that word again. Just saying. It's the truth. One of the best-selling albums, one of the best-selling artists of all time. This is their best, in my opinion, and my buddy Christian, who I said his name, but I'm not thinking where he is. This is one of his favorite albums of all time. That's a very bold statement. But as far as Journey goes in albums, it's hard to pick an album that is just truly amazing. Escape's really great because it's Don't Stop Believing, Stone in Love, Open Arms, and Who's Crying Now, and there's 4 songs in there that are really big. But the rest of it's kind of, I'm not gonna say filler, but it's not as big or as popular as the big songs I just mentioned. Whereas this is probably their best record. This is Journey's probably best album overall, as a complete album. I mean, it's difficult to process that for some people, but when you think about it, with songs like Girl Can't Help It, Positive Touch, Suzanne, as I mentioned, Be Good to Yourself, how could I forget it? Be Good to Yourself. Once You Love Somebody, Happy to Give. The songs are pretty much evened out evenly on each side of the record here. With the side 1 is Girl Can't Help It, Positive Touch, Suzanne, Be Good to Yourself, Once You Love Somebody, and Happy to Give. That's side 1. That's a pretty good even balance of songs. It doesn't really take it too much of a hill. It's more of a hill and valley more than a rock cliff. Then you have side 2 is Raised on Radio, I'll Be Alright Without You, I Could Have Been You, Eyes of a Woman, and Why Can't This Night Go On Forever. And by the way, I just want to say, Why Can't This Night Go On Forever is a really great song. If you've ever heard Why Can't This Night Go On Forever by Journey, stop watching me, get off YouTube, and stream Why Can't This Night Go On Forever, the last song on Raised on Radio from 1986. This is as I mentioned, it's hard to pick out a Journey album, but I think as far as an album goes, this is probably their best album. A lot of people say Infinity. Some people might even say Trial by Fire. I'm of the opinion that Raised on Radio is their best album as a collective experience listening to it. Because when I listen to Escape, which I have, when I listen to Frontiers or Infinity, which I have, I don't really have the same experience listening to it from start to finish as I thought I would. If you know what I mean. Like when I listen to Van Halen's debut album, it all sounds complete. Escape and Frontiers, as strong as some of those singles were, like Faithfully and Don't Stop Believing and Stone in Love and Separate Ways, Worlds Apart, and Only the Young, Journey had great singles, but as far as an album goes, this is probably their best album. It's a collective piece of music, a piece of art, has to be their best record. It is great though. The hit singles were really, Be Good to Yourself was a smash in like the late 80s. And the Raised on Radio tour, unfortunately, that was the tour where Steve left the band, and then he's like, and then he took like 10 years off. Then they made Trial by Fire. Then they broke up again. I'm not getting into drama with Journey because there's still feuds with certain things here and there with them. I love their music. I'm a big fan of Steve Perry. I'm a big fan of Neil Sean. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Cain. I'm a big fan of that trifecta of the band, as well as Steve Smith and as well as Ross Mallory on bass and drums. I mean, what more do you want in a band? They're some of the best musicians to fit in that structure of a band, and they are. The first time I saw them was 2018. They only played a couple of songs off this record, like "Be Good to Yourself." But the second time I saw them, I saw "Girl Can't Help It" live. That was actually pretty cool. Arnell was not singing it though. Arnell Pineda was not singing that song. But no. But this is, if you want to take it with a grain of salt, but I believe this is Journey's best album as a whole. Because when you listen to it, the hit singles kind of balance out the deeper cuts on the record. As I was mentioning, it opens up with "Girl Can't Help It," great song. "Positive Touch," great song. "Suzanne," great song. "Be Good to Yourself," great song. "Once You Love Somebody," "Happy to Give," both great songs, but not as well known. To side 2, title track, "Raised on Radio," "I'll Be Right Without You," "I Could Have Been," and then "I Could Have Been You," and "Eyes of a Woman" kind of take a little dip, and then "Why Can't This Night Go On First," a solid closer to this record. So, as a listening experience, I recommend it. I recommend listening to this from start to finish overall. It's a fantastic record, perfect summertime music too, because it's already June, July of 2025. Check it out for sure. But listen, I think that's going to do it for us with this episode of Rock Talk. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Don't forget to follow us on our social media page as well, simply at The Super Review Show. I want to thank myself for doing this video, of course. But yeah, great record overall. Have you heard Journey's Raised on Radio? Please sound off in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this album too. Great album. But for all of us here at The Super Review Show, J-Man is off to rock. See you guys later.